3 times a night. That's how often the average senior over 65 wakes up to urinate. And doctors have been treating the wrong problem for decades. It's not your prostate, it's not your bladder getting weak, and it's definitely not just normal aging. What I'm about to reveal is a hormone disruption that's affecting nearly 90% of American seniors, stealing your sleep and setting you up for serious health problems. How many times did you get up last night? Once? Twice? More than that? Here's what you need to understand right now. Every single time you wake up to use the bathroom, you're interrupting critical repair processes happening in your brain and body. And if you're getting up even once per night, the information in this video could transform your health within the next 2 weeks. Because fixing nighttime urination isn't just about better sleep. It's about preventing diabetes, protecting your brain from dementia, and adding years to your life. Picture this scenario. A 67-year-old man has been waking up 3 times every single night for 5 years straight. He assumes it's his prostate. His energy is gone. His memory is declining. He can't lose the weight around his belly no matter what he tries. And every doctor visit means another prescription, blood pressure medication, diabetes pills, something for depression because he's exhausted all the time. He's spending over $400 monthly on pharmaceuticals and barely sleeping 5 hours in fragmented chunks. Now, imagine that same man just 3 weeks later. He sleeps completely through the night without waking up even once. The brain fog has lifted, his energy has returned. And here's the part that stunned both him and his physician. His blood pressure and blood sugar normalized so dramatically that his doctor began reducing his medications. What created this dramatic transformation? He corrected a specific hormone imbalance that had nothing to do with his bladder or prostate. This is what I call your body's metabolic reset switch, and you're about to discover exactly how to activate it. Nighttime urination destroys your sleep architecture, and sleep disruption triggers a devastating cascade of health consequences that most seniors never connect to those bathroom trips. Research published in Sleep Medicine demonstrates that interrupted sleep elevates cortisol, your primary stress hormone. Elevated cortisol makes losing weight nearly impossible and actively causes visceral fat accumulation, that dangerous belly fat surrounding your internal organs. Disrupted sleep dramatically increases your diabetes risk by creating insulin resistance. A landmark study in diabetes care tracked thousands of adults and found that people waking up multiple times nightly have a 50% higher risk of developing type 2 diabetes within just 5 years. The Cleveland Clinic's cardiovascular research shows that chronic sleep interruption damages your heart and arteries as severely as cigarette smoking. Think about that. Your nighttime bathroom trips could be as dangerous as smoking a pack of cigarettes every day. Your brain has a specialized cleaning system called the glymphatic system that only activates during deep, uninterrupted sleep. This system removes toxic protein deposits and cellular waste products. When sleep gets disrupted repeatedly, this cleaning process can't function properly. That's the real reason you wake up with brain fog. Research from the University of Rochester Medical Center has established a direct connection between poor sleep and dramatically increased risk of Alzheimer's disease and other forms of dementia. The psychological toll is equally serious. Johns Hopkins Medicine research shows that seniors experiencing disrupted sleep are 3 times more likely to develop clinical depression. Your mood deteriorates, anxiety increases, cognitive abilities decline across the board. Memory, focus, concentration, decision-making, all of these suffer when sleep is fragmented. For men, testosterone production drops significantly. Everyone experiences persistent daytime fatigue and constant hunger signals that drive unhealthy snacking throughout the day. Here's something that should make you question everything your doctor has told you about aging. There are populations around the world where people routinely live into their 80s and 90s while sleeping completely through the night without waking up even once. Yet, the National Institute on Aging reports that in the United States, 1 in 3 men and 1 in 3 women over age 65 wake up at least twice every single night to urinate. So let's be absolutely clear about this. Aging itself is not the cause. Getting older does not automatically sentence you to broken sleep and constant nighttime bathroom trips. There are specific, identifiable, and fixable factors creating this problem. Most physicians will tell you it's inevitable or immediately prescribe prostate medication or bladder treatments, but those approaches treat symptoms while completely ignoring the underlying metabolic dysfunction. You deserve to understand the root cause. Most doctors never explain this to their patients, but your body produces a specific hormone whose primary job is controlling nighttime urination. It's called vasopressin, also known as antidiuretic hormone, or ADH. Understanding this hormone is the key to everything. The name tells you exactly what it does. Antidiuretic means it prevents excessive urination, especially during sleep hours. ADH regulates your body's water balance with incredible precision. When this hormone functions correctly, it signals your kidneys to conserve water at night, allowing you to sleep undisturbed for 7 to 8 hours straight. But when something disrupts ADH production or sensitivity, your kidneys produce excessive urine, particularly during nighttime hours. Research published in the Journal of Urology identifies ADH disruption as the primary underlying cause of nighttime urination in older adults, not prostate enlargement or weakened bladder muscles as commonly assumed. So, what throws off this critical hormone? The pharmaceutical. Industry profits enormously from selling medications that never address these root causes. I'm going to tell you exactly what disrupts your ADH and show you how to correct it using natural, evidence-based approaches. This is your metabolic reset switch. Once you understand how it works, you'll be shocked that nobody ever explained this fundamental mechanism to you before. The first major factor disrupting antidiuretic hormone is an imbalance between sodium and potassium in your diet. This electrolyte imbalance is extraordinarily common in American seniors and very likely affecting you right now. The average American adult consumes approximately 3,400 milliliters of sodium daily, while only getting about 2,600 milliliters of potassium. According to American Heart Association guidelines, this ratio should be completely reversed. Your body needs substantially more potassium than sodium for optimal function. When you consume too much sodium without adequate potassium, your kidneys cannot respond properly to ADH signals. Your body recognizes excess sodium as a problem requiring elimination, so it increases urine production to flush out that excess salt. This happens with particular intensity at night when you're lying horizontal. Harvard Medical School research demonstrates that correcting the sodium-potassium balance reduces nighttime urination episodes by up to 40% within just 2 weeks. Here's a practical diagnostic sign you can check right now. Press your finger firmly into your lower leg, ankle, or the top of your foot. If it leaves an indentation that remains visible for several seconds, that's called pitting edema, indicating fluid retention. Picture someone who's been standing all day with noticeably swollen ankles. When they finally lie down at night, gravity is no longer keeping that fluid in their legs. It gets reabsorbed into the bloodstream, and the kidneys have to process and eliminate it. That's why people with sodium-potassium imbalances and fluid retention wake up multiple times, particularly in the first few hours after lying down. The second major ADHD disruptor is blood sugar imbalance and insulin resistance. If you have diabetes or prediabetes, you already know you urinate more at night. But most people don't understand the mechanism. When your blood contains excess glucose, your body treats it as a toxin that must be eliminated urgently through your kidneys. As that glucose passes through your renal system and bladder, it pulls water along with it through a process called osmotic diuresis. Research published in Diabetes Care found that individuals with poorly controlled blood sugar produce up to 50% more urine during nighttime hours compared to people maintaining normal glucose levels. Even if you're not diagnosed diabetic, consuming sugar and refined starches, particularly during evening hours, spikes your blood glucose. Your body must eliminate that excess sugar, and water gets dragged along with it. This creates a vicious, self-perpetuating cycle. Elevated blood sugar at night drives increased urination. Increased urination fragments your sleep. Fragmented sleep causes insulin resistance, which worsens blood sugar control even further. The National Sleep Foundation reports that just one single night of poor quality sleep can reduce your cell's insulin sensitivity by up to 30%. Each night, the problem compounds, creating a downward spiral that gets progressively worse unless you interrupt the cycle. Here's something very few physicians ever test for or even consider. 2 specific nutrients play absolutely critical roles in bladder control. Vitamin B1, also called thiamine and magnesium. B1 directly affects the autonomic nervous system pathways that control bladder function. According to research published in the Journal of Clinical Medicine, B1 deficiency is shockingly common in the senior population, affecting up to 30% of adults over age 65. The problem compounds because B1 cannot function properly without adequate magnesium levels. These 2 nutrients work synergistically to regulate the nerve signals controlling your bladder. If you experience urgent nighttime urination, where only a small amount of urine comes out, or if you have that desperate feeling but cannot fully empty your bladder, that's frequently a neurological issue stemming from B1 and magnesium deficiency rather than a structural prostate or bladder problem. The University of Maryland Medical Center reports that magnesium deficiency affects nearly 50% of all Americans, with even higher rates among older adults. Consider this carefully. You could have a completely healthy, properly functioning bladder and prostate. But if these 2 critical nutrients are deficient, you'll still experience nighttime urination problems that no amount of conventional bladder medication will fix. Now let me show you the specific lifestyle factors sabotaging your ADH production every single night. I need to be very direct here because these are factors you have complete control over, yet they're probably destroying your sleep quality and overall health right now without you realizing it. Excessive caffeine consumption is a major ADH disruptor. Caffeine acts as a diuretic, directly stimulating your kidneys to produce more urine. This isn't limited to coffee. Tea, energy drinks, and even chocolate contain methylanthynes with diuretic effects. Mayo Clinic research demonstrates that consuming caffeine after 2 p.m. in the afternoon significantly increases nighttime urination frequency and volume. If you're drinking coffee throughout the entire day, you're essentially forcing your kidneys into continuous overtime mode. Sugar and starch consumption during evening hours is absolutely devastating for nighttime urination. When you eat carbohydrates at dinner or as evening snacks, your blood sugar spikes sharply. Your pancreas releases insulin to manage it, and as your kidneys filter out that excess glucose, massive amounts of water get pulled along with it. A study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that people consuming high carbohydrate dinners wake up to urinate 60% more frequently than those eating low carbohydrate evening meals. Excessive protein intake at night creates another problem many people don't consider. When you consume large amounts of protein, particularly at dinner, your body produces urea as a metabolic byproduct. Your kidneys must eliminate this urea by increasing urine production. If you're eating a large steak, chicken breast, or fish portion for dinner, you should expect multiple nighttime bathroom trips as your body processes and eliminates that excess protein breakdown. This is why nutritional recommendations suggest consuming most of your protein at breakfast or lunch while keeping dinner portions moderate. But here's the absolute worst trigger of all, and this one must be non-negotiable: alcohol. If you want to virtually guarantee multiple nighttime bathroom trips, drink alcohol in the evening before bed. Alcohol is one of the most powerful suppressors of antidiuretic hormone production. Research published in Alcoholism Clinical and Experimental. Research demonstrates that even moderate alcohol consumption suppresses ADH production by up to 40% for several hours afterward. Here's something that surprises almost everyone when they learn it. When is the worst time to drink fluids? The answer is within 3 hours of your bedtime. Many people, myself included in the past, don't feel particularly thirsty during morning hours, but experience intense thirst during evening time. So, they consume most of their daily water intake at night. But research from the National Sleep Foundation reveals something fascinating. That evening, thirst sensation isn't actually dehydration. It's an evolutionary survival mechanism. Your body creates that thirst signal to ensure you consume adequate fluid because you won't be drinking anything for the next 7 to 8 hours while sleeping. However, if you respond to that thirst by drinking large volumes of water or other fluids close to bedtime, you're guaranteeing multiple nighttime awakenings. What makes this even worse is combining evening fluid intake with nighttime snacking on carbohydrates, starchy foods, or salty items. Picture someone relaxing on the couch at 900 p.m., eating pretzels, chips, or cookies. The salt and sugar make them thirsty. They drink substantial amounts of water. Then they wonder why they're up 3 times before morning. Those carbohydrates and salt are also depleting potassium levels even further, compounding the entire problem. Here's something that will fundamentally change how you think about your kidneys. These organs filter approximately 180 L of fluid every single day. That's nearly 48 gallons of liquid. Yet, they only eliminate about 1.5 to 2 L as urine in a healthy individual. Think about that massive difference. Your kidneys are constantly filtering and reabsorbing, thousands of times daily. When ADH functions correctly, your kidneys reabsorb the vast majority of that filtered water, especially during nighttime hours. But when something disrupts ADH production or your kidney's sensitivity to it, they suddenly start allowing excessive water to pass through as urine. That's when you find yourself making those trips to the bathroom every 2 or 3 hours throughout the night. The encouraging news is that once you understand what's disrupting this elegant system, correcting it is actually straightforward. This is your metabolic reset switch, and I'm going to show you the exact protocol to activate it. Let me give you the specific action steps that will reverse this problem. I've explained the underlying science, so now we're going to create your personalized protocol. First, absolutely eliminate all alcohol during evening hours. Period. No exceptions. This single change alone will dramatically improve sleep quality for the majority of people. If you're struggling with reducing alcohol consumption, professional resources are available, but this has to become non-negotiable if you want to sleep through the night. Second, stop all fluid intake within 3 hours of your bedtime. Concentrate your water consumption during morning hours and throughout the day until dinner. According to research published in Neurology and Urodynamics, people who stop drinking fluids 3 hours before bed reduce their nighttime urination episodes by an average of 50% within just 1 week. That's a massive improvement from one simple behavioral change. Third, avoid salty foods during evening hours. Salt disrupts that critical sodium-potassium balance we discussed and triggers increased urine production. And fourth, absolutely eliminate all nighttime snacking. This might be the single most impactful change you can implement. Evening snacking, particularly on carbohydrates, creates insulin resistance, spikes blood glucose, and virtually guarantees multiple nighttime awakenings. Now, let's address that fundamental sodium-potassium imbalance. If you have excessive sodium and insufficient potassium, which is extremely common, your kidneys will not respond properly to ADH anymore. The solution is dramatically increasing high potassium. Foods in your daily diet. Avocados are among the best sources, providing approximately 975 milligrams of potassium each. Leafy greens, including spinach, Swiss chard, and kale, are excellent choices. Bananas, sweet potatoes, white beans, and beet greens are also potassium-rich. The American Heart Association recommends adults consume at least 4,700 millimolars of potassium daily. But here's the critical timing factor. Consume these high-potassium foods during morning and afternoon hours, not close to bedtime. You can also consider a high-quality electrolyte supplement containing potassium, but again, take it during morning or lunch hours, never in the evening. Research published in the Journal of Hypertension demonstrates that correcting the sodium-potassium ratio doesn't just reduce nighttime urination. It also lowers blood pressure significantly, improves cardiovascular function, and reduces stroke risk. This one nutritional correction provides multiple profound health benefits simultaneously. Dramatically reduce your caffeine intake, particularly afternoon. 1 or 2 cups of coffee during morning hours is fine for most individuals, but consuming caffeine throughout the entire day acts as a constant diuretic, forcing fluid elimination through your kidneys. The Mayo Clinic recommends limiting total daily caffeine to less than 400 mg, which equals approximately 2 to 3 cups of coffee, with none consumed after 2 p.m. Keep your carbohydrate and sugar intake low, especially at dinner and during evening hours. When you reduce carbs and sugar, there's no excess glucose forcing water elimination through your urine. Remember this fundamental principle: water follows sugar. According to research in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology, people following a low-carbohydrate eating pattern in the evening reduced nighttime urination by 35% compared to those consuming high-carb dinners. Be careful with large protein portions at night. Excessive protein gets converted to urea, which your kidneys must eliminate. Keep your dinner protein portions moderate, approximately 3 to 4 ounces, and consume your larger protein servings at breakfast or lunch. If you experience the situation where you feel an urgent, desperate need to urinate, but only a small amount comes out, that indicates a neurological issue. The solution is therapeutic doses of vitamin B1 and magnesium. Don't rely on the minimal recommended daily allowance found in basic multivitamins. Those amounts are insufficient to correct an actual deficiency. For B1 supplementation, look for benfotiamine, which is a highly bioavailable fat-soluble form. Research published in the Journal of Diabetes Research shows that 300 to 600 milligrams daily of benfotiamine can significantly improve nerve function within 4 to 6 weeks. For magnesium, use magnesium glycinate, which offers the highest bioavailability and won't cause digestive disturbances. The therapeutic dose typically ranges from 400 to 600 milligrams daily. According to the National Institutes of Health, these higher therapeutic doses are safe for most adults and can correct deficiencies that standard multivitamins simply cannot address. Combined with increased potassium intake, this creates a powerful synergistic protocol for restoring normal bladder function and ADH sensitivity. Here's the critical piece that connects everything together. At the root of most nighttime urination problems in seniors is insulin resistance. This is your metabolic reset switch. When you're insulin resistant, your cells no longer respond properly to insulin. This causes chronically elevated blood glucose, which forces your kidneys to produce excessive urine. It also directly disrupts ADH production and your kidneys' sensitivity to this hormone. But insulin resistance doesn't just cause nighttime urination. According to the Centers for Disease Control, it's the fundamental underlying cause of type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease, hypertension, obesity, and emerging research even links it to Alzheimer's disease. Research from Harvard Medical School shows that 88% of American adults demonstrate some degree of metabolic dysfunction, meaning insulin resistance affects nearly the entire population. The encouraging news is that insulin resistance is completely reversible through the strategies I've outlined. When you eliminate evening snacking, reduce carbohydrate intake, increase potassium consumption, correct nutritional deficiencies, and avoid alcohol and excessive fluid intake before bed, you're not just fixing nighttime urination. You're reversing the underlying metabolic dysfunction that destroys overall health and accelerates aging. Before you go, I need you to understand something important. The information I just shared with you is information that most seniors will never learn from their physicians. You're in a very small percentage of people who actually understand what's truly causing nighttime urination and how to correct it naturally without pharmaceutical intervention. Your metabolic reset switch is real. Restoring proper ADH function is achievable. The ability to sleep completely through the night, wake up genuinely refreshed, improve your energy levels, sharpen your mental clarity, stabilize your blood sugar, and dramatically reduce your risk of serious disease. All of that is available to you right now. The only question is whether you're going to apply what you've learned. Start tonight. Eliminate evening snacking completely. Stop drinking fluids 3 hours before bedtime. Remove alcohol from your evening routine, beginning tomorrow morning. Increase your potassium intake dramatically. Add therapeutic doses of B1 and magnesium. Then watch what happens. I promise you, if you implement these changes consistently, you will sleep through the night. Come back and leave a comment below to give other people hope that this protocol really works, because insulin resistance is at the absolute core of this problem. In my next video, I'm revealing the complete protocol for reversing insulin resistance in adults over 65. This includes the exact meal timing strategy, the specific foods that reverse metabolic dysfunction, the supplement protocol, and the lifestyle modifications that have helped thousands of people completely transform their metabolic health. If you're dealing with weight gain, hypertension, diabetes, or simply want to prevent these conditions from developing, you cannot afford to miss that video. I'll see you there.